The boss, Sasha Banks, returns to the ring. Chris Jericho confirms all of the CM Punk AEW stories, seemingly in just one post. And Halloween Havoc 2022 for the NXT brand is now in the books, and the reception is not too good, man. The reception for Halloween Havoc is downright scary. We're going to talk about that, all those stories coming up. It is very early in the morning. I don't even have my assistant Sasha with me. Not Sasha Banks, my assistant. But it is so early, I don't even have Sasha here, so I have no intro music. I get the jobber entrance, basically. We're just going right into the stories. I haven't even had my first coffee of the day, guys. And you know how I feel about having my coffee before I interact with humanoids, as Bobby the Brain Heenan would say. Coffee first. I don't like dealing with humans till I've had my first coffee. But I haven't even had that. This is the only time that I can make this video, this bonus content on the weekend. And I really wanted to shoot the shit with you guys before I take off for the rest of the weekend. So that's the deal, man. This is the only time I can do it, and it's even before the coffee. That's how much I love my amplified unit, man. So I'll get the coffee later. Fine. That's another story. We're going to start off with the wrestling. Actually, first we're going to start off with a couple of big thank yous to a couple amplified unit members. Throwing a coffee to BC in yesterday's video, man. Janelle Layton. I saw that shit, and I gotta watch that strobe then. When I start pounding the coffee, I'll watch that strobe effect for you, Janelle. I caught that message. Janelle, I appreciate that coffee, man. Down in the super thanks, man. There's a new button that YouTube put up, and you guys are really fucking showing that love, man. Every time I put up a vid, there's a bunch of you guys that throw BC a coffee. It's never needed. I'm going to have plenty of coffee, but the fact that you guys do that, man, it's so appreciative. It's just, it's always mind-boggling that people will go the extra step to show the love and support. So I want to make sure that, Janelle, you get that right back. And Stephanie Marcini. Stephanie, sounds a fucking Italian. Steph, I appreciate that coffee. Again, not needed. Very appreciative. And the answer is yes. I will soon be doing that, Stephanie. In that super thanks comment. So Janelle and Stephanie, the ladies showing the support over to the BC channel yesterday, man. The gals stepped up. So it's kind of fitting we're talking about Sasha Banks as one of the leads in the stories today. So Janelle and Stephanie, much love and respect right back to you, man. Those coffees will be downed accordingly. In fucking promptly amplified status this morning, I assure you. Let's start off with, let's just start from the jump, man. Sasha Banks. She returned to the ring. Long overdue. She put up on her Instagram post, I believe, one of those social media sites, she put up a photo of her. She got the knee brace already on. Over the protection, she's got the elbow pad, she's got a couple of bananas, she's got her water, she's got her fucking wrestling leggings on, and the caption is just on the photo, it's go time. It's go time. And that's all she really left. Now, the subsequent photos we were able to get afterwards, man, it seems like she was training down in Spain at Lucha Libre Barcelona. So she stopped by there to train. She used to always do this when she was heavy into wrestling, man. Even when she was at her peak. I'm talking about just January, February. She would stop by schools, and she just loves training and just trying new stuff, trying new moves, and working with younger talent up on the indie scenes. It's so cool to see her back in the ring, and I got to see, I can't share these, but there were several photos that I got to see of her doing her thing, and I'm telling you right now, she looks immaculate. If you're worried about Sasha Banks, Mercedes Fernando, I guess I should be saying as well, right? We don't want to screw with the intellectual properties of World Wrestling Entertainment. But if you don't mind, I'm going to call her Sasha Banks for transparency reasons. Is that okay? BC, it's Mercedes now, man. Her real name, man. It's her real name. No, I understand. But we're going to call her Sasha Banks for transparency reasons, man. So there's no confusion. If you're worried about Sasha's, appearance, in-ring shape, is she even ready to go if her and H reach an agreement? Yes. And even better. I mean, I'm staring at a photo right now and I'm like, damn, she somehow is even in better ring shape. The photos that I see with the moves that she was putting on, she's ready to go today. Somebody like Sasha, I guess they really don't lose it anyway. It's like Shawn Michaels. They could just step right back in and they're ready to rock like they never lost a step, like there is zero ring rust. Fucking love that, man. Sasha Banks is just one of those unique talents that just has the ability to turn it on and off whenever she wants. And that's just genuine talent. That's just when you're really good, head and shoulders above everybody else. That's why I've always said Sasha Banks is by far, it's not even close, the greatest women's wrestler on the planet today. Not even close. And I know this is where everybody starts throwing names at me. Basically, bullshit. BC, you're delusional. What the fuck? X, Y, and Z is way better, man. Charlie Flair, Becky. Fuck, I'll get six Japan talents thrown at me, Beasley, check these matches. You're gonna fucking know you're wrong. It's not dude, that's your preference. That's I've checked off every box of every female wrestler that I've seen. Sasha Banks checks them all off on another level. She just does. It's seamless. It's flawless with her. And I always say this like a broken record. I feel so bad for my tried and trues that have to listen to me say this 1,000 fucking times. She's everybody's best match. And when you are the common denominator for everybody's best match, you, by default, are the best. She was several of Charlotte Flair's best matches, by the way, more than one. If Charlie Flair ends the career today, Charlie Flair knows Sasha Banks was her best matches. If Bayley's career ends today, Bayley knows Sasha Banks was her best match. Becky Lynch, at least top two. She would say Sasha Banks was her best match. Bianca Belair, if the career ended today, she would say Sasha Banks was her best match. I mean, do I really have to keep fucking going here? Whether it's a Zelina Vega or Io Shirai, Io Sky. It doesn't matter what level the talent is on or where they're placed booking-wise. Everybody, their best match was Sasha Banks. Or at least, I mean, if you're going to come up with another one or two, okay, so top three for maybe some, but everybody I just named, that's their best match. And that's what I mean, right? It's not just what we like and what we don't like. That's what everybody always gets fucking, whenever I say somebody's like the best wrestler or one of the best, people throw a fit and they start throwing out names. Nuh-uh, this person is better, and I'm like, bro, you're going off of just emotion. You're not thinking about the facts. When somebody is everybody's best match, or nearly everybody, you are by default the best when it comes to this wrestling thing. So people say, oh, it's a pro Sasha channel. BC always speaks so positively. That's actually not true. When Sasha is booked poorly, for instance, we rip the booking of Sasha Banks. And if Sasha does something wrong or there's a botch or anything, we discuss it. My Sasha crew says, BC, come on, that's being hard, isn't it? And I got to tell the Sasha crew, hey, much love. We're in this together. But, we got to call it down the middle. So that we're not just biased because we love Sasha Banks on this channel. No, we call it right down the middle. Sasha Banks is literally the best. Because factually, that's all she puts out. Bangers, as the fucking kids call them. So, Sasha Banks is just one of those talents that can turn it on and off. And when you're that fucking good, it shouldn't be a shock that she just got back into the ring to train some more. Maybe she's already been training, by the way, and just not posting anything or photos have not leaked. But that is not the case here for Lucha Libre Barcelona. Not afraid to put those photos out. And Sasha herself saying it's go time with all of her gear in the photo. And it was so good to see. And in these photos for Lucha Libre Barcelona, it's the exact gear that was in the photo. So they coincide. So what does this mean for the future? Exactly what we think it means. We've been hearing that H is absolutely finalizing this new agreement with Sasha, and that's all it is, guys. It's a new agreement. They are not released from World Wrestling Entertainment. They're still posted as superstars. You guys have to know that, but something definitely happened where they're able to do their own thing and put their own real name at the forefront. They're working with Triple H in some capacity. I honestly believe they already have a target date, a return date in place. I truly believe that. And looking at Sasha Banks, Mercedes Fernando, and just the trajectory of what she's been teasing, even Naomi a little bit, but Sasha especially, the slight teases that I'm seeing, I wouldn't be shocked if Paul Levesque and Sasha Banks Mercedes Fernando has already come to some type of new agreement within the structure of her current contract with World Wrestling Entertainment. So anybody that thought she was going to AEW, sorry, not so. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. It's not gonna happen. I'd be fucking rocked, bro. I'd be floored if Sasha ever showed up to AEW. A, and B, she is still contracted with World Wrestling Entertainment. All those reports were false, saying otherwise. So it's not like she could just show up anyway. These photos have kind of also awoken some talks about Sasha showing up to Full Gear or to AEW before the end of the year. And it's just, it's comical because legally that cannot happen. I mean, she's literally still on the roster page of World Wrestling Entertainment. I mean, come on, guys. Just because she uses her name on social doesn't mean she's still not at WWE Sasha Banks on everything else. So that's the biggest first step, man. Knowing she's back in the ring, she's got that she's all up in the fields. It's go time, she puts, and she's got all the gear, man. And then you see those photos, and it's just like, man, is that where she belongs? Right in that fucking ring. It's awesome she's doing all these extracurricular activities, man. Getting her name out there, living her best life. With Naomi, by the way. But it's clear that pro wrestling is her home. It's where her passion, it's where her heart, it's where her love is. And I think she's WWE full, guys. I just don't see, even down the line when she's out of WWE's contract, I don't know if Tony Khan would book her properly. Tony Khan, we always have these complaints with the WWE's women's division, and they're justified. But over in AEW, it's a whole nother fucking set of problems. I mean, Tony Khan is literally lost with trying to book the women. Lost. I mean, he is all over the fucking place. And I just don't know if he would know what to do with a Sasha Banks. At least Paul Levesque knows what to do. We just got to hope that it's being done. Now, I brought up Naomi. I really hope that she is not far behind. I hope that she returns as well. Again, still under contract, but can they work out an agreement where everybody is happy and she comes back to work? And I think Naomi is a workhorse. So it doesn't take too much. I mean, let me put it this way. It takes a lot to have to upset somebody like Trinity, somebody like Naomi. It takes a lot to upset her. So for her to walk out, people blame Sasha. Oh, she just went along with Sasha. Sasha's a bad influence. That's bullshit. Naomi has been on the receiving end of bad booking for 10 years, guys. She's only had 2 title reigns, and they were very fucking short, if you even call them that. And she's head and shoulders better than 90% of the wrestlers currently on that roster, at least. I mean, I would have to do a severe evaluation to break down the exact number. But if you're talking about in the ring, Naomi is always the highlight reel. Right? If you watch a Naomi match, coming out of it, we're usually talking about Naomi as the highlight. Naomi is that good. And it seems effortless with her as well. Kind of funny, I said that about Sasha. But with Naomi, it's just so... Man, it's so good seeing her in the ring, and to see for 10 years her only have 2 title reigns. and I can't even call them reigns, 2 title holdings. And then you have Charlie over there, who's got, 14, going to 14, 15, something like that, man. She's about to capture her father's record, not far off in the near future. And it's like, if you look at Charlie Flair's actual wrestling, guys, and you look at Naomi, for some reason, Charlotte is put up on a pedestal and Naomi is playing 4th, 5th fiddle, and everybody's okay with that. But when you really break down, when you really dissect their wrestling, which BC has on multiple occasions, Naomi is not just right there with Charlotte, but you could easily say that Naomi is better. Naomi can do a moonsault. Naomi can do natural selection. Naomi can do a figure 8 leg lock. Naomi can do a cartwheel. So I don't see this notion. Naomi actually sells properly, unlike Charlie. So I don't get this notion that she's that much worse than Charlotte. I don't even think she's worse at all. Actually, I know she's better. There's nothing in Charlotte's arsenal that would go above and beyond Naomi, and Naomi is even more athletic. So I just don't understand the notion. But one of them has 14, 15 titles. The other one's been there longer, years longer, and only has 2. And nobody sees a fucking issue with that? Well, Naomi doesn't connect BC. She's not as over BC. Charlotte Flair has been there at least 6 years, and there still to this day is not a connection with the majority of the audience. Do you realize that they've tried everything with Charlie Flair? Do you realize they have handed her 13, 14, 15 titles? Again, whatever it is, it's astronomical. Title opportunity after title after title after title, not opportunity, title after title after title after title reign. And nothing has worked. Do you realize that when Asuka was champion, they spent half of her title reign, it was horrendous. One half was spent holding the hand of Lana, and then when Charlie came back from a hiatus, they kicked Lana to the curb, and they had Asuka hold the hand of Charlie Flair just so Charlie could get a rub and try to get over with the crowd, and even that didn't work. Reminds me of The Rock when he came back for the Royal Rumble, and they wanted him to hold the hand up of Roman, and everybody, Philadelphia booed, even The Rock, because they were not going to cheer Roman Reigns at that point. We love Asuka, but no, we were not going to fake cheer Charlie just because she's rubbing shoulders with Asuka. It was not going to happen, and even that failed and fell to the wayside. She has turned face and heel 17 times. Slight exaggeration, but just a little bit of an exaggeration. She's turned face and heel as much as Kane in The Big Show, it seems. And again, it's only been about approximately 6 years-ish, main roster bound. She's on another hiatus. She will come back. She will get the same fucking reception, which is non-existent. But yet we live in this falsity, right? We live this falsity where we believe Charlotte Flair is a megastar. Why? Because the machine puts her face on the posters? Because the machine gives her all the titles? Because the machine says she's the tall blonde with the last name Flair, and we have to take that shit down? Don't regurgitate that shit? No. We're not going to be force-fed horse shit. The majority of the audience has smartened up. We're not just going to accept it because the machine is forcing it. We didn't with Roman. We're not going to do it with Charlie. That's not even shade to Charlotte or Ashley Flair. That is this notion that she's head and shoulders better than everybody else when it's not even close. And Naomi has to play second fiddle, and I ask why. When there was chances to push Naomi to the fucking moon. I always bring this up when she had the championship and she went to a live event with a Glow title. She took it upon herself because, like Sasha, she gives a fuck about the industry. She loves the company. She loves pro wrestling. She takes it seriously. She cares about it. She's passionate about it. She took it upon herself to have an awesome Glow title for the live event. And instead of WWE backing her up and going, that's cool, I like it, let's make some money. No, you know what Vince did? He punished her. and made sure that that Glow title never saw the light of day on WWEshop.com. Could have made the company mad cash. Lots of money, that Glow fucking title. And I got nieces for sure that would have loved that fucking title. Would have bought it like that. I would have bought fucking 5 of them for all my fucking nieces. But no, they never even gave it a chance. You know, you'll have Rattlesnake belts, and you'll have Spinner belts, and you'll have Brahma Bull belts, and you'll have Taker belts, and you'll have fucking Dana Brooke belts soon, and Tamina belts. You got the fucking Charlotte Flair Queen belts. But you can't have a Glow title, because that might actually get Naomi over even more. And if you're Vince McMahon, you cannot have that for some fucking bullshit reason. Or many. It's bullshit that this company never backed Naomi. That's the bottom line. Let me put a cherry on the top of this conversation. A little fucking bow tie on the gift that BC is giving you. The sermon on this fucking Sunday. Naomi deserved better. She absolutely is justified in walking the fuck out of that company. And Sasha's the fucking same. Sasha's had what, 5 or 6 singles title reigns-ish? Not even half of what Charlotte has? And you ain't gonna sell me that Charlotte is anywhere near the league of Mercedes Fernando Sasha Banks. Not even close. And she doesn't even have half. And half of those 6 title reigns, 5 or 6, 3 of them were for like a few days or a few weeks. I think 3 title reigns equaled 81 days or some shit. Not even 3 full months. And people are okay with it. Because they just don't like Sasha, or they don't like Naomi, right? So then you gotta fucking... It's 2022. They have their own fucking social media. They have their voices, and they want to be heard. Oh, Sasha sucks. Naomi's horrible. These stans don't know what they're talking about. You know, if you think it's affecting anybody with a fucking brain in their dome piece, no, we're laughing at you. Because the words are so pathetic. You know, the truth is the truth, and Sasha and Naomi are long overdue for the return. This is the first step. It all comes full circle. This is the first step, man. It's making waves. Everybody's starting to talk about, oh, this is the beginning, man. You know, we've heard she was in talks with H. We heard there might have been some training, but no actual visual evidence. Well, this is it, man. This is confirming her in-ring return. Training. And now it's just a matter of time. When do they pull it? Is it, you know, do you have her come back at Survivor Series, or do you have her come back at the Royal Rumble, win that shit, and go on for the championship? What do? Do you do another Bianca Belair match? Does Bayley win it on Monday night, and then it's Bayley Sasha? Do they have Charlie Flair defeat Bianca? Charlotte shows up to the red brand, defeats Bianca Belair, and then Sasha, and then you have a Sasha Charlotte rekindled feud for WrestleMania. I don't know. Do you have Sasha win the Rumble? We're getting ahead of ourselves. I think it's more imminent now more than ever. Sasha Banks and hopefully Naomi as well will be back in World Wrestling Entertainment in the very near future. First step is in the books. She was back in the ring. She's looking incredible, man. The same Sasha Banks we remember. She may, man, just by the look that I'm seeing, she may be even better than what we last saw. Moving on. This one's big, man. This is huge, actually. And it's just in one fucking click. One little push of a fucking finger, and Chris Jericho sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. But there was a post. Somebody, I think just a fan, posted something on social. And it was this. Imagine that you're CM Punk. You've had one of the most triumphant comebacks ever in the history of wrestling. You've been promoted as the star you never got to be in WWE. And within a year, you completely ostracize yourself, becoming so toxic that you're not worth having around. So again, imagine that you're CM Punk. You've had one of the most triumphant comebacks ever in the history of wrestling. You've been promoted as a star you never got to be in WWE. And within 1 year, you completely ostracize yourself, becoming so toxic that you're not worth having around. Damn! But so true. So true by this by this fan, and Chris Jericho came across this, and Chris Jericho smashed that like button. Chris Jericho liked that post, confirming, as if you needed any more evidence anyway. The evidence is there. The locker room is nearly, maybe a few individuals, and I doubt they're going to say too much because when the EVPs come back, they're their bosses. But for the most part, everybody is firmly in the corner of Omega and the Bucks and Hangman Page. I mean, everybody is pretty much in the same belief that the lethal dose, I need a coffee. The lethal dose of poison that was interjected into AEW was caused by Tony Khan himself. The poison was Phillip Brooks, CM Punk. And when Punk got to that locker room, man, everything on that roster kind of changed. And you kind of saw that. And over time, it became more toxic. And nobody really knew what the dose of poison was. Where was it interjected from? What is causing the locker room that was once really tight? We used to always talk about WWE being a mess, right? The whole roster is in turmoil. Half the dudes are on social complaining they don't want to be in that prison anymore. And then, boom! The second CM Punk gets there, at least a month or two after, we start hearing stories. A little bit of chatter over there, some chatter over here, some fucking squeaking over there. And before you know it, we start hearing about internal fighting and people not happy. And it's like, whoa, man, has the culture changed quickly? And that's because Tony Khan was over there sucking the dick of CM Punk. You know? And you can't do that. And listen, we have much respect for Tony Khan and what he's done for the wrestling world, really giving Vince McMahon a shot in the mouth and really still to this day trying to do such and really give World Wrestling Entertainment a run for their money. So respect for Tony Khan. But when I saw that press conference, not the last one at All Out, there was one before that, or maybe it was a few, I forgot exactly what event, but there was a press conference where somebody questioned CM Punk's numbers and why they don't seem like it's really affecting the business in a positive way. Or somebody had said that, maybe it was, from WWE, and Tony Khan flipped the fuck out. Tony Khan, maybe it was Eric Bischoff, said some words, and Tony Khan flipped out during the press conference, dropping F-bombs, swearing, and you watch Punk's face. Punk's face said it all, man. He was looking at Tony Khan like he was like an 8-year-old that had too much sugar and needed a fucking ass whooping. CM Punk was acting like the fucking mature adult while the kid threw a temper tantrum. It was one of the most awkward things that BC had ever seen in pro wrestling. I still, everybody talks about the All Out press conference when Punk went on a tirade. But it was the one where Tony went on the tirade where I was like, dude, you can't do that. I mean, I know we like to say, well, that's why we love Tony, because he's so authentic and he wears his heart on his sleeve and he says what comes to his mind and it's so refreshing, BC. I get that to a point, but there's also a point where you're running a major company and you really want to lead by example. And when you're there at a press conference, which your wrestlers are going to end up viewing, all the fans are, you're there with one of your top stars, CM Punk, and you're just flipping the fuck out and dropping all of these F-bombs. It's one thing if BC, a podcaster, is dropping F-bombs, but to hear Tony Khan go on a tirade, I don't know if he was actually dropping too many F-bombs. But the point is, he was flipping out, right? Cussing and just wilding out. And Punk is looking at him like, what am I in? But there was a moment toward the end when I saw Punk's face and BC was like, oh, fuck. And what I mean is when he looked at Tony Khan and he looked back there was a look at can't call it media. It's just fucking podcasters, like podcasters and YouTubers with cameras, right? So he looks back at the fucking podcasters and the YouTubers, and there was a moment in his eye, I knew BC was like, wow, he owns Tony Khan now. Because of the way that Tony Khan just acted and the way that he was sucking Punk's dick, bro, because that's what he was doing in that press conference. Punk ate that shit up. You can't do that with a guy like Phil Brooks. That's not even shade. I'm telling you, a guy like Phil Brooks, when he knows he owns you, he's going to manipulate the fuck out of you. And I knew from that point on, Phil Brooks is going to treat Tony Khan like he is his bitch. And he is going to try to run AEW. I knew it. There was a look in that press conference. Now you fast forward to All Out. And who was doing the flipping out and who was looking like that dude's nuts? It was CM Punk flipping out and doing the exact Tony Khan thing. And now Khan was taking back like, damn, dude, relax. The roles had reversed. The words that Punk said in that press conference at All Out, you remember what he said? I'm trying to run a business here. We think that was just a slip up, but he let his cards right on the table. I'm trying to run a business, and you have this, I forgot what he said, this dipshit, meaning Adam Hangman Page, running around, basically spreading a bunch of bullshit. He just leveled Hangman Page. Absolutely, just every chance he got to take a shot at Hangman Page, he did. But he said, I'm trying to run a business, and you have these idiots that couldn't manage a target. Trying to ruin the fact that I'm trying to run a business. Something like, it was crazy, man, to hear those words. I mean, he accidentally let the cards right on the table. And I knew exactly then, man, I'm like, this is a problem. If it wasn't for the backstage altercation with the Elite, I don't think there'd be repercussions for Punk at all. I think Punk's plan was to just start to own AEW. Not literally, but nearly. I think he wanted to always be in Tony Khan's ear. He wanted Tony to do exactly what he said. And the way that Tony was sucking his dick, it was going to happen. CM Punk knew that he had Tony right in the palm of his hands. And that's why you cannot treat your wrestlers like you are a mark. That is why you cannot treat your wrestlers like that. You cannot fuck hug them. You cannot adore them publicly. You can't do it. I know that sucks because you're a fan of them, but you have to be their boss or they will walk over you. And CM Punk was doing that to Tony. That's the truth, guys. That's not any shade to put. Trust me, God. Come on, man. Look at the situation. I'm giving you the timeline, and everything I said and everything that I thought ended up being true. So because of all of that, the locker room took notice. And just like the WWE locker room, most of the AEW roster just could not stand to be around Phil Brooks. He was not a good dude to be around. That's coming from them. I mean, I don't know how many more people have to tell you this. But even Chris Jericho, and Jericho never really got along with this dude anyway from WWE. And CM Punk thought that Jericho was trying to get him to talk after the WWE departure on his Talk is Jericho podcast. And Jericho was just like, no, I was just saying, if you want to shoot the shit, I have an open forum. And back then, Jericho's was one of the only relevant ones. A prestigious podcast. So, but of course Jericho wanted the scoop as well. You can't blame him. But Punk kind of threw some shots over to Jericho at that. So I'm not saying there was any love lost there, but Jericho confirming this with that says everything, because Jericho and Mox are the new locker room leaders. They have stepped up in place of the Elite and CM Punk. It is now clearly Mox and Jericho, and it's not a coincidence that just in the last week we heard that Mox has signed a new 5-year deal, and Chris Jericho has just re-signed for 3 more years. All basically within 7 days. Your 2 new locker room leaders is now Mox and Jericho, and they're not going to put up with Punk shit. Literally and figuratively, Punk shit. They're not going to put up with that. So Jericho is one of your new locker room leaders. You say, well, BC, he kind of already was, and you're right. But this is just officially, he's a locker room leader now. Like he is now in that place that like the EVPs were at once. And I don't think that when the EVPs come back, they're ever going to have the respect and the fucking power like a Chris Jericho and Mox right now. I really don't. I think they're running this asylum with Tony Khan. I hope. But to have Chris Jericho, your new lead in AEW, like this post, make sure that it's known. He knows that's for public forum once he presses that. And he knew what he was doing. And it's once all the investigation is now over, everybody's starting to talk. Ace Steel just said that accusations are false. People are starting to talk about what happened. And now Jericho is making sure that everybody knows where he stands. liking this post that says, imagine that you're CM Punk. You've had one of the most triumphant comebacks in history of wrestling. You've been promoted as the star you never got to be in WWE. And within a year, you completely ostracize yourself, becoming so toxic that you're not worth having around. And Jericho made sure that everyone knows he approves of it. And he smashed that like button. I told you. If you ever thought CM Punk was coming back to AEW, of course not. BC told you over a month ago it's going to be a buyout situation where AEW will buy out his contract. It was first Wade Keller that brought that up, and it was exactly around the time that BC was hearing the same things. And the more I thought about it, I said, actually, that's the only conclusion that's the only way this could turn out is a buyout. Because Punk cannot return to AEW, AEW will suffer, right? The locker room will once again be toxic. It's not like Punk's going to come back like fucking Joel Osteen, right? He's not going to come back with a tie and a fucking Book of Mormon and he's going to fucking skipping down the hallway trying to fucking hug everybody. No, that's not how Phil Brooks would come back. So the locker room would suffer, and Phil Brooks was not happy either, man. Phil Brooks was not happy in that locker room. Phil Brooks is he ever happy? I don't know. Current mood. Angry. I kind of fucking dig that shit, right? It's okay. It's okay to always have that little chip on your shoulder, but you do have to get along a bit with your coworkers, man. You know, you all have to spend so much time together. So I love always being angry. I love that shit. You also have to, you know, get along to go along, you know, and to go along, you got to get along. It's vice versa. You can't go to work and just be miserable because your coworkers are going to suffer with you and you are going to be a fucking prick. You're going to be a douche. Don't be that guy. Even if you want to be an asshole, that's fine. But don't be a douche. And it seems like that's just what it's just Punk's MO, man. You know, I wanted to give him another chance when he came back to pro wrestling and he stopped shitting on it. But I mean, this dude's MO is just a fucking prick. I don't know what this dude's deal is. And now everybody sees it. You know, it used to just be BC and a few others, or everybody that worked with him. Now everybody sees, you know, like, damn, this dude burns every bridge he comes across. But Jericho, you know, Punk can't come back now. He won't be happy. The locker room will be in turmoil. And you have the leaders that don't fucking like you. It would be even more tumultuous than before. It would be more turmoil now if he came back. BC told you over a month ago the buyout was going to happen. Now we're starting to hear within the last 48 hours, the buyout is almost complete. I expect it before the holidays. We're going to hear all the details on an official buyout of CM Punk's contract. He'll be free to go. I think the only thing holding it up now is Tony Khan wants to make sure that after the buyout, after the contract ends, that there's at least a 6-month grace period as well where Punk can't go to World Wrestling Entertainment. And for those that are saying it's totally never going to happen, you don't know what you're talking about, Jack. Even Paul Levesque, and we know the fucking heat between those two. Even Paul Levesque knows if it's a chance to give Tony Khan a knockout blow, Paul Levesque's going to do that. Paul Levesque wants to beat Tony Khan so fucking badly. You saw that last Tuesday. With what he brought to the table to compete with AEW, man. Bring in all those main roster stars from Kevin Owens to Shinsuke Nakamura to fucking Raquel. Shotzi's over there. Man, there were so many. Finn Balor, Damian Priest. I mean, he stacked NXT. He's not happy with being booted off of Wednesdays, being defeated by Tony Khan and moving over to Tuesdays. Then he had the heart issues. He's put up in fucking bed. I mean, he's got a vendetta against Tony, and it's pretty clear. Even Tony Khan said that. You know, the way that they treat me, I don't see us working together. And he meant the way that Stephanie and Paul Levesque talk about him behind the scenes. He's heard the stories like we have. Paul does not like Tony. And it's getting to the point where Tony is just not going to like Paul. And I always said, one way or the other, one day, CM Punk will be in a World Wrestling Entertainment ring. You don't got to believe it. That's fine. I'm not even using the wrestling phrase, never say never. I don't give a fuck about that phrase. CM Punk will be back in a WWE ring one day. Tony Khan knows this business enough to know that if you can get extra months after the contract, you're going to take it. And I think that's what's holding us up. He wants a little bit of a no-compete clause. Same thing that Vince McMahon always gives his wrestlers upon release. He wants a little bit of a no-compete. Not just during the buyout, but even after the year rate was supposed to end. I bet you he wants something on the tail end. But there's something being configured in the legal department that is holding up this buyout. Otherwise, we would have already heard that it's official, and we'd be hearing details by the end of next week. But it's still ongoing. But there is going to be a buyout. There's no Punk returning to AEW. If you ever thought there was a possibility, that's just been put to bed. It has been debunked by Chris Jericho, who is confirming that what the stories are saying about Punk backstage, Chris Jericho, I don't know what else he has to do other than say the words himself in a post. But he confirms that it's true. He was toxic, and these words, that you're not worth having around because you're so toxic. And Jericho said, yup, and he smashed that like button. And Jericho was telling you how it was for them backstage. It was such a bad experience when he was around backstage that it just made everybody fucking miserable, and your worth is not worth it. We can't even have you around anymore. Chris Jericho has now confirmed that. So anybody that thought this was a storyline or maybe it could be worked out, it seems like everybody is doubling down. I think the locker room just does not want him back. And again, in Phil Brooks' defense, I don't think he wants to come back. Put a cherry on that story and say, damn, how fast things can turn around. It seems like just yesterday the dude debuted and everybody was like, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. And then here we are a fucking year later, if even, and dude's already gone. Lastly, I do want to check up on the NXT Halloween Havoc results. Full disclosure, I did not see the event. I had some traveling to do, and I had to keep up on my Yankees, which totally blew it. There's no way they're beating the Cheetoritos, or as you guys call them, the Astros. There's no way we're beating them, obviously. Tonight will be our final nail in that fucking coffin. But I wasn't able to check it out yet. I was going to while I was out in my travels later on this evening, but I don't know if I need to. The reception for Halloween Havoc has been pretty bad, man. And this is where I'm going to lean on my right-hand man, JR9 Gaming. If you do catch this vid, please let me know on your thoughts on NXT's Halloween Havoc. I know you watch it in full, so I always look for your words on NXT especially. Because a lot of people are just, they're not saying flattering things about this event. I didn't even see the result. We're going to do earmuffs here, guys. This is where the video is going to end if you don't want to hear spoilers. If you've already seen NXT Halloween Havoc, you might want to stop the video here. I'm going to do spoilers because I'm going to go over the results right now because I want to see why people are saying is it the results that people didn't like Halloween Havoc, or was it just the execution of the event as a whole? So I am going to give spoilers here, just letting you know. Earmuffs, or you got to take off until next video. I'll hopefully see you guys Monday night, maybe Tuesday, obviously, for a Raw's review. Check you later. But for those of you that want to stick around, because BC did not see this event, I want to go over the results. Wes Lee wins the WWE NXT North American title ladder match. Okay. I know we respect Wes Lee. We like Wes Lee. I don't know. I mean, is he a larger-than-life superstar that's going to move the needle? Come on, guys. I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to do. Ladder match, though. I mean, you would think that would be a fun match. So I don't know if that's why it would be a bad event. Apollo Crews, which, by the way, is a WWE main roster star, or was. But he's now back in NXT. But Triple H tried to sell us that it's developmental more than anything. It's what college is to the NFL. Why the fuck is Apollo there? I say this all the time. You don't see NFL players going back to college to play ball. Why is Apollo back there? Why is Veer Mahan back there? Why is Mandy already? Mandy's been crushing it, but if we're being honest, we're starting to hear more about this college thing, and it's more developmental than anything else. Ever since the question was asked, your feelings about AEW defeating you. Congratulations, you beat developmental, is what Paul Levesque said, and now it seems like they're tripling down on that shit. But yet, every time I look on the program, it's a main roster star. What is it, H? Contradicting, man. Apollo defeats Grayson Waller in a casket match. Well, if it's developmental and it's for the youngsters, then wouldn't Grayson Waller win this match so people could go, hey, Grayson Waller could be something in this business? It looks to me like this is a default prize, right? A consolation prize for Apollo. Sorry we couldn't do anything for you on the main roster, but go to NXT and we'll make you a star again. How is that developmental? How is that helping the young kid in Grayson Waller? I just don't understand the decision. My gal, Roxanne Perez, that is main roster bound imminently, permanently, by the way. So look for Roxy to be up on the main roster sooner rather than later. This was on paper really good because the storyline was really good. Roxanne Perez defeated Cora Jade. Also, Cora Jade will be on the main roster sooner rather than later as well. Be on the lookout for both of those ladies. Main roster bound. Roxanne, Cora Jade in a Weapons Wild match. And Roxanne defeats Jade. I would have thought that'd be good. Maybe it didn't turn out so good. I don't know. Julius Creed defeated Damon Kemp in an ambulance match. Oh, full disclosure. There was a moment where I actually, on my phone, I got the Peacock up. And because I wanted to see if NXT was still on the air, like what match are they in? Is it an awesome atmosphere? And I finally got the Peacock set up during the ambulance match between Creed and Kemp. And guys, I only spent like 2 minutes on it. I was literally like, this is like bad. So I will say the 2 minutes that I saw, the atmosphere wasn't there for an ambulance match. I don't feel like this deserved an ambulance match. I don't think we should have wasted an ambulance match in this situation. And it just seemed like it wasn't intriguing enough. I mean, let's just say this. I had about 5 minutes to tune into the match. That's why I checked it out, right? I'm like, okay, I got 5 minutes before I have to get back to everybody. So let me see what NXT is doing for Halloween Havoc. And I had about 5 minutes. I only spent 2, and I signed right back out of Peacock. It wasn't even worth 5 minutes. It was an ambulance match, and BC was not into it. Maybe it's because, it's Creed and Kemp, and why we all say, well, they're good, man. They're going to be something special. I like them. They have talent. We still don't know who the fuck they are, really. You know what I mean? Come on, man. We're talking about Julius Creed and Damon Kemp. What the fuck is a Julius Creed? What is a Damon Kemp, really? Really, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it. And they're in an ambulance match on a premium live event. Maybe that's just what it was. I don't know. I was just not feeling it at that time, man. Man, I went extra hard on those poor kids. They didn't deserve the blunt of that. But I had 5 minutes. I want to be entertained. And it was an ambulance match. I'm like, oh, this is good. I tuned in at the right time. And it was just kind of fucking boring to me. Mandy Rose defeated Alba Fire. Oh, no, JR9. Your girl, bro. I think we knew that, though, didn't we? Or did you have Alba winning? I forgot, JR. Mandy Rose defeated Alba Fire, WWE NXT Women's Championship. I'm kind of okay. Mandy Rose has just been electric on the roster. But again, this is contradicting Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You're claiming it's the college to the NFL. You're claiming it's more developmental than anything else. You're claiming it's for the youngsters, the kids. Mandy Rose has just been owning the women for an entire year. I don't see how this is helping kids out, man. I don't see how many people are going to go, yeah, Alba Fire lost, but... you know what I mean? And all the people that Mandy Rose has beaten, I don't think we're going to go, but... Braun Breaker defeated Dragunov. Well done, Dragon. And J.D. McDonut. I love donuts. Homer Simpson. I love donuts. Braun Breaker. So yeah, this is Breaker and Rose. This is the two dominating stars of NXT. So I guess they keep trying to make Braun. They were going to do that anyway, with or without a title, because he's a Steiner. And So that could have been done even without a title. Mandy Rose, again, was a main roster talent who's just been holding up the fucking women's division. She's been crushing it, by the way. Much love and respect to what Mandy's done in Toxic Attraction. But, I mean, this is the night of Mandy and Braun again. I just don't know what this is truly doing. I mean, Wes Lee, I guess, had the big moment. Other than that, Braun Breaker, Mandy Rose, and Apollo Crews, man. This is just, I don't know if this is any different. And I don't know how the matches actually took shape, you know, how they were presented. So you guys, if anybody watched NXT, you guys let me know if I should watch it or not. Or is just hearing the results, reading the results enough? BC, save yourself the 3 hours. Go get a lot of coffee. You guys tell me, because on paper, I guess I could say Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Mandy Rose, Alba Fire. Isn't it ironic? It's the two ladies matches I was most looking forward to on paper. Everything else, I did not need to see at all. So maybe I'm not that shocked that the reception for Halloween Havoc is not that great. You guys let me know what you thought about it. And no, BC, forget all those haters, man. It was good. Watch it. Let me know. And maybe if I got the time, I can absolutely do such. Right? Let me make sure I got that too, by the way. And as far as Triple H open to the CM Punk return, man, and that's a word Fightful was hearing, I think. Again, guys, I already went over that. So if you're like, basically, you didn't even talk about that. Yes, I did. I literally talked all about that in the half an hour that we went over the fucking Punk situation. But I will say this again. Anything can always happen in wrestling, and usually does. You will be shocked if Triple H and CM Punk ever shake hands in a WWE ring. I will not be. BC Amplified. Till next time, top guy, and he's about to be out, like right to a fucking Dunkin' Donuts to pound 2 coffees, and then I'm going to go down the road to a Starbucks, down a couple more coffees, and then I'm going to find a local mom and pop coffee shop and down a couple more lattes. I'm going to start off with a 6-a. Hope you guys whoop the rest of this weekend's ass. Much love and appreciation as always, and I will definitely have a bunch of content for you guys coming up next week. Thank you for an incredible week. And we will do it again even more amplified next week, as I just said. Now I'm just repeating myself. I need coffee. All right, I'm out. I'm hitting the bricks. BC saying check you. So long. Put them up. Put them up. Get them up.